caught girlfriend cheating with my friend, got revenge by exposing his secret stash and getting him arrested while she was away. So, I walked in on my girlfriend Christine cheating on me with my best friend Toby. Yeah, you read that right. My own best friend. I couldn't believe it. It was like a punch in the gut. I mean, how could they do this to me? We had been dating for 3 years, and I thought she was the one. Hell, I was even thinking about proposing to her. We had plans, dreams, the whole 9 yards. And Toby? He and I had been friends since high school. We'd been through thick and thin together. He was practically family. To catch them like that, it was beyond devastating. I walked in on them in my own goddamn house. I had forgotten my wallet and came back home during my lunch break. As soon as I opened the door, I heard noises coming from our bedroom. At first, I thought maybe Christine was watching something, but the sounds were too real. My heart started pounding as I crept towards the bedroom. When I opened the door, there they were, right in front of me, naked, entangled. Christine screamed and tried to cover herself, but it was too late. The damage was done. Toby had the decency to look ashamed, but not enough to stop what he was doing. I didn't even know what to say. I just stood there, frozen, until my brain finally caught up with what my eyes were seeing. I turned around and left the house, slamming the door behind me. I drove around for hours trying to process what I had just seen. My phone was blowing up with calls and texts from both of them, but I ignored every single one. How could they? How could my girlfriend and my best friend betray me like this? The betrayal cut deep, but the anger was something else. It consumed me, and I knew I had to do something about it. The more I thought about it, the more I realized I couldn't just let this slide. They needed to pay for what they did to me. Christine was out of town for a work conference the following week, so I had some time to think about my next move. Toby, however, was still in town, and I knew he had a dirty little secret that could ruin his life. You see, Toby had this stash. It wasn't just any stash. It was a collection of drugs he sold on the side. He always bragged about how smart he was, never getting caught, always staying under the radar. But I knew exactly where he kept his stash. He once showed me in a moment of drunken stupidity, thinking I would never betray him. Well, guess what, Toby? That was your mistake. I decided to expose him, but not just expose him. I wanted to make sure he got what he deserved. I needed to make sure he went down hard. So, I started gathering evidence. I took photos of his stash, recorded our conversations where he talked about his deals, and made sure I had everything I needed to bring him down. But I couldn't just hand it all over to the cops. No, I wanted to make sure it was done in a way that he couldn't wiggle out of. So I waited. I waited for the perfect moment when Christine was away and Toby was vulnerable. The night before Christine left for her conference, I acted like everything was fine. I even managed to convince her that I was starting to forgive her, that we could maybe work things out. She seemed relieved and promised to make it up to me when she got back. Yeah, right. As soon as she left, I put my plan into action. I called Toby, pretending I needed to talk, that I wanted to bury the hatchet. He hesitated at first, but eventually he agreed to meet me. We decided to meet at his place, which was perfect because that's where his stash was. When I got to his place, he greeted me with an awkward smile. We sat down, and I started talking about how hurt I was, how betrayed I felt. He apologized over and over, saying it was a mistake, that he never meant to hurt me. I pretended to forgive him, and we ended up having a few beers. Once he was sufficiently drunk, I told him I needed to use the bathroom. He was so wasted, he didn't even notice when I went into the room where he kept his stash. I took more photos, making sure to get clear shots of everything. Then, I planted a few small bags of drugs in obvious places around the house, places the cops would easily find. The next morning, I made an anonymous call to the police, tipping them off about a major drug dealer in town. I gave them Toby's address and all the information they needed. Then, I sat back and waited. The cops raided Toby's place that afternoon. They found everything. The stash, the planted drugs, all of it. Toby was arrested on the spot. He tried to call me from jail, but I didn't answer. I didn't care anymore. I was done with him. When Christine got back from her conference, she was in for a surprise. She came home to find a note from me, detailing everything. I told her how I had caught her cheating, how I had exposed Toby, and how I was done with both of them. I didn't hold back. I told her exactly what I thought of her, and how she had destroyed our relationship. She called me, crying, begging for forgiveness, but I was done. I blocked her number, packed up my stuff, and moved out. I wasn't going to stick around and deal with her bullshit anymore. The news of Toby's arrest spread quickly. Our mutual friends were shocked, but I didn't care. I cut ties with everyone who was connected to them. I needed a fresh start, away from all the drama. In the weeks that followed, I focused on rebuilding my life. I found a new place, started a new job, and made new friends. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. I needed to distance myself from the pain and betrayal I had experienced. Toby was charged with multiple counts of drug possession and intent to distribute. He was looking at serious jail time. Christine tried to reach out to me a few more times, but I ignored her. I was done with her toxic presence in my life. I learned a lot from this experience. I learned that people can be incredibly deceitful, even those you trust the most. But I also learned that I'm stronger than I thought. I took control of the situation and got the revenge I needed to move on. Now, looking back, I realized that what I did wasn't just about getting back at them. It was about reclaiming my power, my self-respect. I refused to be a victim. And in the end, I came out stronger. So that's my story. It's a cautionary tale about trust, betrayal, and the lengths one will go to when pushed to the edge. If you ever find yourself in a similar situation, just remember, you have the power to take control and move forward. Don't let anyone take that away from you. I've learned that life's challenges, no matter how devastating, can be overcome. You just have to keep moving forward, keep believing in yourself, and never let anyone make you feel less than you are. Because at the end of the day, you're stronger than you think.